Hey there guys, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. This is Chetan here from DevilCube and welcome back to a brand new Photoshop tutorial. And in this Photoshop tutorial, we're going to be learning to create a geometric styled Twitter header or a YouTube banner or a Facebook cover or whatever you want to call it. This tutorial is again, the inspiration is from my pal System on Twitter. He opened up a new channel and is going to be uploading he's going to start uploading a lot of speed arts and tutorials. So you guys can check him out. The link will be in the description, and also the link for his Twitter channel will be up in the description so you guys can check him out. So let me just show you what he created, and we're going to go ahead and recreate the same thing. And I'm going to be showing you the steps on how you can recreate such a thing. So here is what he created for himself. And this is a personal revamp that he created for himself. So we're going to go ahead and create this part. So let me just go ahead and get this so that I can go ahead and use it as a reference. And okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to File and Create New. And I'm going to choose 1500 by 500. And in case you guys want to make it for Facebook, you can go ahead to Google and just search that out and you will get the proper dimensions. So for Twitter it's 1500 by 500. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to press Ctrl-0 on the keyboard to fit my canvas to the screen. And I'm just going to go here, click on this, and I'm going to drag it and drop it over here so I can get a good reference. And maybe we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and click on this background that we have over here, and that's going to make it editable. And I'm going to go ahead and select a color. So I'm going to press I on the keyboard or click on this eyedropper tool, and I'm going to go pick this color right over here. And this color is going to be something like a dark blue. So it's going to be 20, 40, and 45 on the RGB values. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to hide this layer, and I'm going to press Alt and backspace, and that's going to fill it with my foreground color. And we should be able to get the similar color over here, but let me just try to get the same thing again. Should be able to get the same color. Yeah, okay, that seems to be the more same color. So let me try once again. So let's see what the color code is. It's okay, so it's going to be 25, 37, and 45. Yeah, something like that. And okay, that's great. So the next thing I want to do is going to go ahead and create these diamonds. So the best workflow to do that is to create only the diamond shape, and then we want to add a stroke as our layer style. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and let's actually select this, and maybe we can go ahead and fit it to the whole canvas size, and I can use this as a reference over here. So let me go ahead and go grab a shape tool so I can create the shape tool over here. I'm going to click the rounder rectangle tool, and I want to click on this edge, and I'm going to, okay, that's not the rounder, I'm sorry. We want only the rectangle tool, and we want to make sure that the stroke is set to 0, and go set the fill to probably any color. We can add the layer styles later. So go ahead and just select it and hold down Shift and Alt, and that's going to go ahead and create this rectangle for us. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit Ctrl-T on the keyboard, and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to hold down Shift so it snaps at increments of 15 degrees. And you can press that out, and it looks like it's pretty big. So let's go and shrink this down. So if you want to center it, you want to press Ctrl-A on the keyboard. So let's press Enter actually to apply the transformation. Press Ctrl-A, and in your move tool selected, you want to go ahead and click on this button over here, which is align to center and align vertically, and press Ctrl-D to deselect, press Ctrl-T to scale it, and you can go ahead and scale it down pretty low, somewhere around here. That looks perfect, and that is great. Now we can go ahead and add a couple of layer styles. So let's go ahead and choose a gradient. So let me just actually cancel this, and I'm going to move this layer to the side. Okay, so now I can go ahead and click on this, double click on this, and we can go ahead and add a gradient overlay. So that's going to give us a nice gradient. Now, as you can see here, you can see these white lines which are bothering you, which might bothering me. So if it bothers you, can just press A on the keyboard and click on Enter, and that's going to hide those lines for you. So just go ahead and double click on that. Let's go to gradient overlay, and we can choose a completely black color for the start, and for the end we can go ahead and pick this nice color over here, and that should look pretty fairly simple and similar. and that is great. Okay, then you can go ahead and add in a stroke. Now the stroke is something that is important. If you just go ahead and if I increase the stroke, you see at the edges it kind of ends up bending because we want a straight one. So the only way to fix that is changing the position to inside, and that's going to give us fairly something similar. But as you can see, the size reduces, so we can just go ahead and scale that later. So now with the color, I'm just going to go ahead and color pick this color, and I'm going to go ahead and set it all the way over here because I want a red color. And let's actually go ahead and pick something lighter, and then we can go ahead and click on OK, and that looks great. And now we can go ahead, press Ctrl T on the keyboard, and we can just go ahead and scale this up slightly. So maybe we can just move this layer back again into the center. Let's go ahead and move this. You want to press V when you're moving stuff. So V is basically your move tool, and you can go ahead and move this into the center. And maybe we want to increase this a little bit more. So let's Ctrl T and increase this up. And you want to make sure that, let me just hide the stroke. Okay, so yeah, that's looking great. Okay, maybe you can go ahead and increase the stroke a little bit more. So let's go and set this to probably 20. I don't know, maybe try 18. Yeah, 18 looks good. Let me just go ahead and scale this a little bit more, and we're good to go. Great. So this is what we have over here. So next thing is we're going to go ahead and scale it up a little bit more to reach the bigger edges over here. So let me just duplicate this by right clicking and pressing duplicate layer, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl J, which is going to duplicate that for you. And I'm going to go ahead and press Ctrl T, and I'm going to go scale this up. So I'm going to go scale it up pretty high over here, and I'm going to put this below. So yep, it looks like that. And press Ctrl T, and we'll shrink this down, just trying to eyeball it, you know, to make it to look similar. And here we don't want the gradient, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reduce the fill of this to 0, but looks like that's not going to change anything. So let's fill that back to 100, and we're going to go ahead and click on this layer, and we're going to go into the shape tool that's over here, and we're going to go and set the fill to 0, and that should be, oh, okay, I got it. So oops, what's happening? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and uncheck gradient overlay, and that's it. That should do the trick. And now we can see that the stroke is pretty thicker, so let's go ahead and change that. So let's go to stroke over here, and we can change the color to something lighter, so something different. So let me just click on this and go ahead and drag it up over till here, and I click on OK, and maybe increase the stroke of this to 25, and 25 looks amazing. And maybe let's just something to 23. Yeah, that looks better. And then we can go ahead and click OK. And maybe I want to change the color, maybe a little bit more brighter. So let me just go ahead and move this up over here slightly. Yeah. I click on OK. And one last thing, let's go ahead and duplicate this one more time, put it at the bottom, and you're going to press Ctrl T, and we're going to scale it up so it covers the big area of so much. Let me just go ahead and center this out so we can eyeball it, and go ahead and position it correctly. And yeah, so this is looking pretty cool. So the only thing we need to do is here on the last one, we're going to go ahead and go to stroke and increase up the size to pretty high. So maybe around 40, and we can go ahead and scale this up even more so it covers a pretty high area, and that's great. Let me move this out, and the color will be fairly similar, so that's okay. And actually I'm going to go ahead to this one, and I'm going to go ahead select the stroke over here on this one, and probably bring the color mode to faint reds-ish. Yeah, that is better. Okay, and if I just hide this, you see we have something that looks like this, and it looks stunning. Okay, next what we want to do is let me put this on the top so we can have a better look. Okay, so yeah, okay. Whoa, what's happening? Yeah, okay. Next, we're gonna go ahead and create this. Let's go create these triangles that we have over here. So we're gonna use the pen tool for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Ctrl R on the keyboard to get me the rulers, and I'm gonna go to View, and I'm gonna choose Snap. Check on Snap. So what that's gonna do is when I move the rulers, it's gonna snap to the center. And if you slowly move it towards the center, it's gonna snap right there. If you can see, it snaps right over there, and that is great. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and press P on the keyboard, and we're going to go ahead, that's going to give us the pen tool. You can click on this button, that's going to give us the pen tool. and we're going to go ahead and draw some lines. So let me just go and eyeball this. I'm not quite sure I'm going to get it the right way, but fairly similar dimensions. And just going to go click over here, and you can even use the arrow keys to move it up, and great, that looks great. And we can just put control and minus key to zoom out, and we can just go here and we can just close this up. And once we have that, you want to create a new layer, and you don't want to click anywhere else. You want to press Control Enter, and that's going to give us a good selection over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this, and I'm actually going to go press I on the keyboard. I'm going to copy this color data, and then I'm going to go to fill, and I'm just going to drop that on, and that's going to fill it with me. And if I press Control D, I'm going to deselect, and we have something that looks like this. And you can see there's a lot of changes, so we're going to fix that pretty soon to be done. So I'm going to press Control J on the keyboard. That's going to duplicate it. I'm going to press Control T, right click, and I'm going to choose flip vertical, and I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to go and move this down so it kind of matches, and that should look great. And we can go select these two layers, right click, and choose merge layers, and that's going to create a single layer. And I'm going to press Control T, and I'm just going to drag this down so it covers the entire canvas. Yep, something like that. And we can go ahead and drop this behind everything. If I had it, you see we're going to have something like this. Press Control O to fit back to the canvas, and maybe we can go ahead and change the colors later, but let's not do that for now. Let's get the full dimensions straight, and I'm going to press Control J once again to duplicate it, Control T to transform, right click, and choose flip horizontal, and I'm going to move this right to the end over here, holding down shift to move faster. And we have something that looks like this. It's kind of matching, but not too much, but that's completely okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and select these two and press Control E to merge these. The shortcut to merge is Control E, and let's have a look. We're going to add in some drop shadow now. So let's double click on that, and let's go and choose drop shadow. As you can see, we're going to get some drop shadow, and I'm going to go ahead and uncheck use global light and set the angle to 0, right? And then you go ahead and increase this up pretty high. Let's actually set this to 90. What's happening? Let me see. Let's turn this back on. Okay, so what I suggest to do is I'm going to Control Z that, and we have two individual layers now, as you can see over here. I'm going to choose this one, select the layer styles for the first one, go to drop shadow, and I'm going to set this to 180. I think 180 is the best, and probably set the distance to 5 and the spread to 10 and the size to 10, and that looks great. Let's right click and choose copy layer style, and we're going to go here and choose paste layer style, and that's going to give us the same thing. But as you can see, we don't see the shadow because we're going to go ahead and change the direction. So if I go here and show you the direction, let's go ahead and set this to 0. And as you can see, we get the same one over here, and let's click on OK. So you just have to play around with the drop shadow. Okay, next what do we have to do? We're going to go ahead and create this banner or this box over here. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and select this marquee tool, and we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and create a rounded box. And we're going to go ahead and select a color. So we're going to go press I. We're going to select this color that we have over here, and we're going to go ahead and press G and create a new layer on top of everything and go ahead and we're going to go put it on top, and we're just going to go fill it up, and you guys can probably see it because it's just blocked by this. And we're going to go ahead and add a slight drop shadow. So let's just go and uncheck this. Let's go ahead and start a slight drop shadow. That is great. And maybe set the spread to 5, and it's simple fairly. Let's set the distance to 10. Let's see, 10 is good. Then you set the opacity to 75 is great, and let's click on OK, and we have a nice bar over here. Now if you want to center it, just press Control A and go over here and select these two, and that should center it out fairly good enough. Okay, I think the drop shadow is pretty strong, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that. So let's go to the drop shadow over here, and I'm going to set the opacity of this to 40, and that's okay. And let's come over here and reduce this drop shadow to 40, 50, 60. Yeah, that's okay, 50 I think. Awesome. Okay, let's go. What else we got? Okay, so we got a lot of other things which we might have to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and create drop in the logo. So I'm just going to go ahead and import my logo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the logo, put it on top. That's going to be my top layer, and I'm just going to press Ctrl T and scale it down and fit it right in, and maybe move it up a little bit. Now as you can see, this line is bothering us, so we have to move ahead and put it behind this one, the main one. And maybe we can go ahead and add in a drop shadow to this as well, maybe a slight drop shadow. Set the distance to probably 2 and spread to 5 and 5, and uncheck global light. I know, set this to 0 or set this to probably 90. Yeah, that's fine. And probably set the distance to 1 and the spread to 10 and 10, or probably set this to 0 and the size to 2 or something. Yeah, pretty simple, just a subtle drop shadow. Okay, let's see if he had any drop shadow. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and uncheck the drop shadow. I'm not gonna need the drop shadow. This is my logo, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just increase it a little bit more, so it is looking great there. Awesome. And then we can go ahead and add in our text over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in my YouTube and my Behance. So let me just go ahead and grab a new text tool. I'm just gonna go and type in YouTube, youtube.com/devilcube-tutorials, and maybe you're gonna change the font. So let's try something like I don't know, I have no idea actually. Let's go and let's see what font we're gonna use. We're gonna use a fat bold font, so probably Arial. Bell Gothic. How does Bell Gothic look? And we're gonna so he has used a grayish color, so let's just go double click on that. Oh, sorry, we don't want the layer style, we want the text itself. And here you want to come to the character. If you don't want to have this, you can go to window and choose character panel, and then we're going to go ahead and change it to a not white but a slightly grayish color. And let's try something that's right. Century Gothic. Nah. Euphemia. No, I don't know, guys. I'm just like struggling. Fluorescence. Let's see. Gotcha Gothic. No, that's too thin. Havlight. No, that's too same. Simple. Locksmith. Oops. Minimoon. Okay, so we're going to choose Nevis Bold. Choose Nevis Bold. And okay, that's great. Let's just go ahead and I'm going to drag this down right over here. Press Ctrl A so that I can center that down. And I'm going to go ahead and move it right over here. And that is great. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate that. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to behance.com #ChetanKVS. Okay, and press Ctrl A. And it's already centered, so we can just go and move it up to the right hand side, and we just want to center it up right over here. So it looks fairly centered, and we can actually go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move this such, and select this and move it over here. It looks fairly it doesn't look proportional, but that's okay. You can just go ahead and put this over here, and Behance, we can go ahead and put it over here. Okay, now as you can see here, he added a dots over here, but I'm not going to be doing that because it doesn't suit my text over here. So because it's pretty long and short and looks pretty bad with the text. So the only thing maybe I want to do is maybe add a single dot. So we can go ahead and do that on our own. We just want to add dot over here, the end, and let's go to the beginning and add a dot, and we want to go ahead and select that part, and we want to go here to the character. I just want to move this up. So, oh sorry, we want to set this to 90 and select this, and we want to move this up. What's happening? Yeah, okay, so we want to change this, and let's set it to 50. Let's actually zoom in by pressing Ctrl Enter, and so we can get a better look. So we can go ahead and reduce this down to 40. set this to, okay, let's actually set this to 41, and maybe you can just go ahead and eyeball it. So 47 seems to work out for me. Select this one as well, set this to 47. Maybe we can add a couple more dots, so 2 more dots, and select this and just 2 more dots. Let's do the same thing over to this text. So double click and select, add 3 dots, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and we can select these and set this to 47. That was right, 47. Let's add a couple more dots here, so 1 2 3, and great. And then we can go ahead and press Ctrl 0, and we can, you know, that's looking better and decent. Okay, so what else we got to do? Okay, we got to add these arrows over here. So what I'm actually going to do is add a gradient overlay to this. So this is the layer that we have over here, which is basically the bar. I'm going to click on gradient overlay, and I'm actually going to go and uncheck this for now, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this data. So I need the data. Okay, so what we're going to do is, okay, that's fine. So let's just go ahead and double click on the first stopwatch. You're going to click on this color. It's going to copy that, and we're going to go ahead and select the last stopwatch and click on the same color. And then we're going to go ahead and click right over here in the center, which is going to add another color stop, and I'm going to set the location of this to 50. And then we can go ahead and we can just increase the lightness, so you can see it becomes lighter. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set the angle to 0, because we want it to dark to light blue. And what we want to do also is we want to go ahead and move these, okay, not that, we want to, so if you click on this, you can see these diamond boxes. You can just go ahead and move this up fairly to the center, so that it becomes brighter in the middle, as you can see over here. And that is great, and that is stunning. Okay, so let's look what else we have to do. So as you can see, he's overlaid a couple of his designs that he created over here, and maybe I can go ahead and do that again. So let me just go ahead and import everything, all my designs. You can go ahead and import any background again. Oh, before that, let's just go ahead and do these arrows over here. It's pretty fairly simple, not too complicated at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's see. We're going to go ahead and we have this layer, right? This big layer. So I'm going to press duplicate that by pressing Ctrl J, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the layer styles. So clear layer style, and I'm going to bring it up on top of this over here, and I'm going to press Ctrl T, and I'm going to shrink it down pretty fairly small, so you know, something like that. Go ahead and move it up over here, and we can zoom in a little bit better. Now go ahead and change the color. So let me just duplicate that. We're going to choose a color overlay, and you're going to go ahead and pick this color and click on OK. And if you move it out pretty, let's move it out somewhere over here. And then what we want to do is we want to duplicate this again. And now let me remove the layer style so that we can see it better. And I'm just going to move it up over here. So hold down Shift when you're moving things so it moves in the same direction. And then I'm going to click on this layer over here. So what I'm going to do is, this is the layer that is the bigger one, the other color, and I'm going to click on that and hold Control and click on this thumbnail, which is going to make a selection, right? Just hold on Control and click, that's going to make a selection. And I'm going to come over here, click on this layer, which is basically our layer here. I'm going to press Delete. Now what actually happened, if I hide this layer, you can see that part which we had got deleted. So I'm going to press Ctrl D. There you go, we have something that looks like this. Now we can go ahead and delete this layer. But as you can see, this is extending. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to click on this layer that we have, the bar, and I'm going to hold down Control and click. And that's going to give a selection. And here I'm going to come on this layer, which is basically our arrow. And if I hit delete, it's going to delete the one which is on, which is in the selected area. But what we want to do is we want to hit Control Shift I, which is going to invert the selection. And now when I hit delete, it's going to delete up that much. So that's something interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and press Control J to duplicate it. I'm going to go hold down Shift and move it up. Right click, Control T, right click and choose Flip Horizontal. and we can go ahead and position this. Now, as you can see here, our text is blocking, so we will have to move our text. So let's just go do that. You can select where's double keep tutorials. Yeah, and we can just go ahead and move it up. Looks pretty bad, I know. Maybe you can go ahead and add in the social media icons. Should be pretty better. You know what? Let's actually Control Z that and move it a little bit out, and let's move these arrows inside. Why do I have to move them out? So, yep, that is great, and great. And I'm going to select these two, press Control A, and just center them down. Oops, center them down so they are correctly lining up with what we have. So that part is done. Okay, it's more thinner, but that's okay. That's okay. Maybe if you want to make it thinner, we can go ahead and make it. It's pretty easy. Just press Control T, and we can just hold down Shift. No, let's actually not do that. Let's just leave it like that. Okay, so I think the last thing that we have left to do is add a little bit of glow on the top and add on these layers. So add on these pictures that we created. So let's go do that. So let's go create a new layer on top of everything. So we have a new layer. So let's just go up and start renaming this stuff to make it more simple. So I'm just going to select these two, press Control G to group them, and this is going to be the big borders. And what are these two? These two are going to be the G. These are going to be the I don't know, the small small borders. Okay, and we have this is going to be the I don't know, this is the line, I'm going to call it. These two are going to be our arrows, so AROWS, arrows. This is going to be our center piece. Okay, piece, wrong spelling, P-I-E-C-E. Sorry, P-I-E-C-E. Okay, oops, my bad. Sorry about that. This is going to be our logo, and we can go ahead and select these two, and we're going to name this as text, and this is going to be our lighting. Okay, and press B, and we're going to go reduce the size of this, and we can just go and put up something here. That's enough, and set it down to 30%. That is definitely enough, or maybe even 20 is perfect. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so now go ahead, I'm going to import all my creations over here, and let's see how to finish that up. Okay guys, so this looks pretty bad. this is insane. So let's clean this up pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of these layers, and I'm going to press Ctrl E, and that's going to merge them into one. So now it's everything is one layer. And now there are couple of ways of fixing this issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring this on top of our big borders over here. So that's where we want it to be overlined. So let's just have a look at the layer and see if everything is correct. Yep, yes it is correct. And you know what, actually, to be honest, I can go ahead and drop this on top of our centerpiece arrows over here, and we can go ahead and change the blending mode of this, and let's just move this up and let's see what we get. So bring this pretty down, lighten screen, color dodge, multiply, lighten color, overlay, soft light. I think soft light looks looking good. Soft light is looking good. Okay, so let's go choose soft light and go ahead and reduce the opacity of this pretty low to say around 10, and let's actually choose maybe 20. Yeah, as you can see, they have a problem. I'm having a problem with these big borders. Where are the small borders? Yeah. So if we have a look at what he has done, okay, yeah, I get it. So we need the small borders, and so we want to bring the lighting. No, where is that layer? Whoops, where did they go? Okay, they're sitting on the small borders. Okay. soft light. We'll use the opacity on a 20 or maybe on 15. And then we can go ahead and okay, I know the problem. There we go. And then we want the line on top, and we want the big ones on top. Yep, there we go, guys. That is looking great. So as you can see, we're having a bit of a problem because I'm not able to overlay all this on the textures over here. So what I'm going to do is, with this layer select, let me just go ahead and rename this layer to be something like pictures. And now we want it on the big fat one over here. So let's just go and put it on the big borders over here. But that's going to put it on these lines as well. And I'm going to go and choose, hold on Alt, and that's going to give me this box when I come in between those two layers. I'm just going to click on that, and that's going to pin it on only this. So as you can see over here, everything over here gets deleted, and that's not what that's what we exactly want. And I'm going to duplicate that layer actually, and I'm going to go ahead and put it here on the below the arrows over here, so right on top of the background. And that's it. Look at that, guys. We have it here and we don't have it on these edges. So that's what system has done over here. So he has it only on these areas and not on these borders over here. So maybe we can actually go ahead and increase the opacity of this. So let's just select these two and set the opacity of this to 20, 30, 25. I don't know if it's going to suit well. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. If you have any questions or requests, feel free to mention that in the comment section down below. And do follow me on Twitter to be updated with all my video uploads. And thank you guys once again, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So till then, take care and bye-bye.